Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, where to refute this, he said that prostitution would like generate a lot of tax revenue, and one quote I guess to fight against that would be that in Germany they tried making prostitution legal, and Donna M. Hughes, a professor at a university, said that German lawmakers thought they were going to get hundreds of billions of euros in tax revenue when they legalized prostitution in brothels in 2002. In keeping with criminal nature of prostitution, the illegally defined business owners and freelance staff in brothels do not pay up. Germany is suffering a budget deficit, and the federal audit office estimates that the government has lost over 2 billion euros a year in unpaid tax revenue from the sex industry. That basically says that even though it has the potential to make a lot of money, it's not gonna, just because the people who run it are criminals, and just keeping in mind criminals, they're not gonna pay. So, theoretically it would make a lot of money, but realistically it wouldn't. And then to go again with that, with how he said it'd make a lot of money, is Joseph Parker, the clinical director of Loda Green Bolton Foundation, who wrote How Prostitution Works, said that prostitution, pornography, and other forms of commercial sex are a multi-billion-dollar industry, which he was correct in saying. They enrich a small minority of predators while a large community is left to pay the damage, which I guess he's right in saying that it does make a lot of money, but it's not what I'm saying that the people who are the victims, the people in pornography or whatever, the prostitutes, they're really like damaged. And one quote going with that is saying that Melissa Farley, a PhD, she has a PhD, I don't know what, but she wrote that prostitutes, a lot of them have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, which is what a lot of soldiers have, like anywhere, from seeing dead people or like people getting killed or just really traumatic stuff, and that prostitutes have this. And obviously, if they have that, soldiers have that, then there's a pretty crazy connection, They must have seen, either experienced or seen or done some pretty crazy stuff. And like, I don't think it's very moral to let that happen to them, or okay to let that happen to them. If we legalize it, then we're basically saying it's okay to let that happen. And then, and another point, he said that it reduces the amount of drug use in the community, which right off the bat, can't agree with, because if you think about brothels, you think about places that a lot of people go, and there's a lot of criminal activity. You can connect criminal activity with obviously drug use, and to support that, Edmonton Police Services of Canada said that prostitutes are not incarcerated and continue to apply their trade on the streets, so continued presence will impact the entire community. Whether prostitution attracts other crime or other crime attacks prostitution is debated. Regardless of the direction of association, prostitution not only ensures violence towards those involved, it also disintegrates communities and affects the safety of our streets. So it's a cop saying that if you allow prostitution to flourish, that it's going to ruin communities, obviously not only because of violence, but because of drugs, and it's going to attract a lot of bad stuff from happening. Even in Nevada, I forget where I read, but I read that all the brothels aren't really like in high dense populated areas. They're like all out in the like middle of nowhere, which is basically what people want. No one wants to live in a community where there's a brothel. Otherwise, people would complain. I think in Australia, where prostitution is legal, the brothels are like right in the middle of the community, and no one likes them. So and then he also stated that there's no evidence as to there's no evidence that if we legalize prostitution, that trafficking will increase, and actually is, I guess, Christine Stark, a former prostitute, said that, she said, you don't legalize organized rape, you just don't do that. What we have found is that legalization has caused an increase in trafficking into the area where the legalization exists. The state then becomes a pimp. Legalizing prostitution creates more demand and mainstreams abuse of women and children. Which basically, right there, a prostitute saying that if you increase it, the trafficking of it's gonna go up, not only for women, but for children as well. And what a lot of people don't know is that in Nevada brothels, what people do is they just random dudes, not random dudes, but pimps. They'll get women and they'll take them to the brothels and they'll leave them there. No, they won't leave them there, but they kind of sell them to the brothels, and the brothels give them money. And I guess that's kind of a form of trafficking too. And if you legalize it, obviously there's gonna be a market for it. Yeah. And then he said that legalizing prostitution will create a safe work environment for the prostitutes to work in. And one of the things he mentioned was STDs. And even if they get checked weekly or monthly or periodically, however, when Jeffrey Burrows, a health consultant, said even if a prostitute is being tested every week for HIV, she will test negative for at least the first 4 to 6 weeks and possibly the first 12 weeks after being infected. This means that while the test is becoming positive and the results are becoming known, the prostitute may expose up to 630 clients to HIV. This is also under the best circumstances, which say even if there's periodic testing, that no one could really, even if there's periodic testing, due to HIV, the way it works, that it allows for people to get infected by it. So that doesn't really work. Not only that, but when you do the screenings, only the girls are tested, not the patients. So the patients have something, the girls are going to get infected by it. And most people will rebuttal that by saying that to wear a condom. But in a study by Janice Raymond, she said that U.S. women in prostitution interviewed reported the following: that 47% stated that men expected sex without a condom, 73% reported that men offered to pay more for sex without a condom, 45% of women said they were abused if they consented to not use a condom, which basically, you say that if they're using a condom, they shouldn't get anything, but from these statistics, obviously, they're gonna get, if they're not using a condom, they're gonna be beat up if they don't use a condom. They're gonna pay more if they don't use a condom, so they're not gonna use a condom, and they're not gonna be safe. And basically that's why it should not be different.